So we know that there is many names of Hashem. And one name that our sages tell us is a name of Hashem that we don't really think about is the name Shalom, is the name peace. So for example, in the Song of Songs, it says, Shir Hashirim Asher Shlomo, a song of songs to seemingly Shlomo, and you would think it's to Solomon because Solomon wrote the Song of Songs, but actually our sages interpreted that. No, it's to the one to whom Shalom belongs, the one to whom peace belongs. Shalom is the name of Hashem. So this is to Hashem. It's kind of like an ode to Hashem. And so what is Shalom? What is peace? It's not just peace. If we really break down the word, Shalom at the root of it is Shalem, is to be complete, to be fulfilled, to be whole. So one of the issues we have in life is that we look around and it doesn't seem complete. It doesn't seem whole. It doesn't seem to be at peace. There's conflict left and right, mainly because there's conflict inside of ourselves, and therefore we see conflict all around, perhaps. But even more than that, sometimes you just have an issue with somebody. How can there be perfection, completion, peace, God, when I look at this individual and I think, nah, there's something off with him. The creator's great and all, but nah, this person wasn't supposed to be here. Or this person should have been slightly different because what he's doing or the way he's behaving or just who he is just somewhat off. And this is one of the biggest issues in a way of something we have to tackle, something as a humanity that we have to tackle. We have to, come to a point of acknowledging the humanity, the divinity of the other. And as long as we can't do that, we have conflict because we think that I'm right, you're wrong. You shouldn't be doing things this way. You should be doing things my way. Whatever it may be. It could be nation to nation. It could be you to your brother or you to your spouse. That whole feeling of what is the root of conflict, of the lack of peace, is this something is incomplete here. Something's incomplete in you. I'm complete. Something is wrong with you. Now, ideally, when we talk about Messiah and we talk about redemption and we talk about the whole world to be filled with the knowledge of God, and they'll beat their swords into plowshares and the lamb and the wolf will lie together and all these wonderful things, what do they all mean? They basically mean peace. They mean this completion. But at the same time, each and every one of us, in a sense, has this power to bring that period to manifestation. But the way it comes about, you have to take control of the things that you have control over. And there's really only one thing you have control over, and that is yourself. That's your own state of mind. You can call it meditation if you want. You can call it prayer if you want. It's interesting that King David said, I need tefillah, and I am prayer. I need tefillah tea. I am prayer. What did he mean? We know that the prayer as we know it today, as it manifests in 3 times a day, we daven the Shmona Esrei, the standing Amidah, wasn't around until around the Second Temple period. But King David was well before that. So what was prayer to King David? What did that mean? What was that meditation? Maybe prayer is not even the right word, as we would say. It was perhaps coming to terms, coming to look at the world around us beyond the division, beyond the conflict, beyond all the things that seem incomplete. Coming to connect to Hashem, but Hashem as he was in his essence, as he is in his essence. So we say like before creation, right? Right away, the Torah starts with the base. Base is 2. So it's like right away there's division. Right away there's conflict. Right away there's 2, right? But before that is what we want to plug into. What's before that is how the paradox actually is a beautiful complement, one side of the other. The yin complements the yang complements the yin. The light complements the darkness complements the light, right? The male complements the female complements the male. The two can only exist with the other. Coming to somehow at terms with that. And it's, in a sense, that's what Purim's about, right? Purim, you have to get to the point of ad de lo yada, to get to the point of not knowing, to beyond knowledge, that place beyond, the paradox where you say, Baruch Mordechai and Arur Aman, blessed is Mordechai and cursed be Aman, to get beyond them. And in a sense, in this week's parsha that we're in, also we see this idea with the goats of Azazel. Again, it was take one goat and cast it off. That's cursed. And this one's blessed, right? So Yom Kippur, in a sense, is like a similar concept. Shabbat, also in a sense, that's why Yom Kippur is called Shabbat Shabbaton, the Shabbos of Shabbos, because you're shavta, you're going back, restoring yourself to the factory settings of before the division, to peace, to rest. Just come to terms, make peace with it, just accept it. So one of the major ways is that it can't just be a meditation of when I'm in my home and I'm praying, or when I'm in my home and I'm meditating, then I can be that way. The real test is if you can take that whole way of being outside with you into every interaction. And God willing, the way that tzaddikim, for example, the way they behave and the way they see the world, is that every single person they come upon, every single day is just perfect. They see the Creator in everything, in everyone, like a puzzle. Without one piece, it would be completely wrong. It would be completely off. So they realize that that's it. That's reality. The reality is perfection. The reality is Hashem. And Hashem is peace, and Hashem is complete. And they're able then to constantly have that tefillah, that meditation with them wherever they go, and to see that. And even when someone seems to be going wrong from our limited perceptions, from their perception, it's like, so right. Everyone I came about, this is ashkacha pratit, this is divine providence. I'm meant to meet this person. I'm meant to learn something from the situation. This is the highest way of operating, the way we should all aspire, in a sense, to operate. Rabbi Nachman says that now we're in Sfirat HaOmer, and you should know that each day of the Sfira, as we've tried to discuss, has a special attribute that is the focal point of that day. And Rabbi Nachman says something quite insane, something quite phenomenal. He says you should know that whatever the sphira of the day is, that is every single conversation you will hear in that day is just a manifestation of those attributes, of those. People don't even realize it. It's not like they're trying to do it. But if you actually plug in, you'll hear that's the song that's being sung. That's the story that's being told. That is the day. That's the energy of the day. And if you can plug into it and harness that energy, make the most of it, now you can come to your highest state of being. You can come to that pinnacle at the end of the 49-day period of the Omer, and the 50th day, which we spoke about, which is the 50th gate of consciousness, the 50th gate of understanding, Bina, which is the consciousness of the world to come that we're talking about. We're talking about in theory. We want to learn how to internalize it. There's a reason that it's the Jubilee. The 50 represents the Jubilee, when everyone's free. What's free is the concept of peace. It's a concept of the end of conflict, of completion. So 50, we spoke about it, is Hageulah in Gematria. 50 is the amount of times Yetziat Mitzrayim is mentioned, right? All of these manifestations of what 50 represents. On Purim, we said the 50 measures of the gallows, 50 tall, right? Beyond that, it's also the birthday, of King David, because he was tefillah. He said to himself, this is my meditation. So much so that the sages tell us that the halacha, which is literally God's saying, God's ultimate verdict on each and every subject and every issue on halacha was always with King David. He always had it, not because necessarily he just studied and he mastered every subject. Of course, that's the case, but it was also a matter that his will was Hashem's will, and so in every situation he just knew what Hashem wanted because he had nullified himself to such an extent. He had given himself over to Hashem in such an extent. He had, in a sense, kind of tasted a bit of this 50th gate to a certain extent. So peace, the end of conflict, this completion, are all interconnected. They're all Hashem, and they're all, in a sense, what we're trying to tap into, what we're trying to connect to. And specifically, Bezat Hashem, during this period of Omer.